10, 9, 8. Go for main engine start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, working on the vapor. I'm doing some of the finishing touches. I'm going to put the launch lug on, and they need you to cut this lug in half. So let's measure it. It is 2 inches, so we will mark the 1 inch and cut it in half at the 1 inch line. And for this, I found that the actually the X-Acto knife works the best. I tried saws and a few other things, they just tear it up. Even though we still do want to reinforce the ends of this to keep it from getting screwed up. So we're just going to take the knife and cut through. Okay. Let the knife do the cutting, don't push too hard. Okay, now you can see it's gotten a little mushed up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sanding stick and clean it up as best I can. Okay. So now we've got it somewhat clean. And then what I'm going to do to reinforce it is I'm going to take a little bit of super glue. And I'm going to put the super glue down. And let's smooth it out a little bit here. Okay. And I'm just going to dip the end of the lug into the super glue. And then make sure I smooth it out. So we're going to just dip it in there like so. Move it around. And then I'm going to take my toothpick and I'm just going to round it out, smooth it out. That way there's not too much of a ridge. Because you don't want a ridge on this end or the inside. The inside will interfere with the rod, and the outside it'll interfere with putting it on the rocket itself. So I'm just going to wipe that off. So that way we got it just really on the edge, and maybe a little smooth area on the inside here, and that's going to reinforce it and keep it from fraying. Okay, and then I will take a little bit of my accelerator and we'll just hit it, a little bit of accelerator here, and that'll dry it instantly. So I'll do the other one and then we'll be ready to install them. Okay, I'm ready to install the lugs. So I'm actually going to use epoxy for this because it's a little bit stronger in this area, and then we'll do a fillet of epoxy as well. Kind of like what we did on the fins, but much bigger. Okay, we don't need a lot for each lug. And I will put one on and then let it dry at least till it's tacked up about half an hour, till it's pretty strong, and then put the other one in, because if I line them up and they're both wet, any little tap or movement or gravity can really screw them up and take them out of line, so we want to make sure they're in line. Okay, so we got our epoxy mixed up. Okay. Take the rocket. Probably would have been a good idea to do all the bottom rocket stuff before I put that upper piece on, but anyways, we're there. So okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to run the lug through the epoxy, get it nice and coated, and first things first, let's roughen this up a little bit. My sanding stick, that way it bites a little bit better in there. Okay, there we go. Now coat it with the epoxy and we'll install it as straight as we can. Okay, and I like to leave the lug just slightly off the rear end, just so nothing can tear it off. So we'll sight it down it, make sure that it's as straight as we can get. And when we put the other one on up here, we'll need to sight it too and make sure it's exactly direct. So we are almost done with this rocket. Okay, I've got the one launch lug on my vapor done, and it's pretty strong there with some of the epoxy. Ready to do the second one, and then once that's dry, we'll do a fillet on it. So I'm just going to take the other one. I've got it marked off here at 12 inches. We will roughen that up first with a little sandpaper. Make sure we get as much bite out of it as we can. Okay. And we'll dip that in the epoxy. Get a good coat on it. And then we'll place it on the line. Get it as closest to center as we can. Okay. And now the one thing we want to do is make sure that it lines up with the back one. So once it starts to tack up, I'm going to run a rod down the middle and make sure that they center themselves. The other thing I'm going to do is sand off the putty for the center section here where the two tubes meet. I'm just going to take my sanding stick and we'll just sand away all that stuff on the fine sanding, which is about a 320 grit. So we'll continue that, get rid of that, polish it out, and that'll be done. Then all we'll need to do is once these are dry, we'll put a fillet on it and we'll be done with this rocket. Okay, we are ready to put our fillets on the side of these launch lugs. I've got my epoxy mixed up here, half an hour epoxy, and I'm just going to lay it in there and let it do the flow. I'm putting it in the middle first so it flows out. That way it doesn't get around the corner and into the tube itself. And we'll push it up to the middle of the launch lug there. Okay, now I'm going to screw it up first. What we're going to do is we're going to take our Q-tips, a little bit of alcohol on them, and we're just going to do a nice easy fillet. Now one from this side, rolling it as we go. Okay, looks good. Just need to clean up the mess on the edge. Okay, that's what the fillet's going to be like. Give you a tight look there. So we will let that dry. We'll do the other one, let it dry, and then flip it over once that's dry and do the other side. And we have a finished rocket ready for the paint shop. So that's about it for this rocket here. The rocket's been a lot of fun to build. I would probably build another one. It'll be interesting to see how that baffle goes and see how everything works. So thanks for watching. Any comments, let me know. Tell me what you think, and give it a try on this kit. It's a very simple kit. It's a very large kit. That's why I can't fit it in the whole camera. So I'll have to do it when I paint it. You'll have to see the whole thing. So again, thanks for watching. Be sure to visit my website and be sure to subscribe so you get all my updates, and hit the bell so it informs you the minute I have a new video to go. And remember to keep on building.